This license to sell opium and cocaine products was issued by the Internal Revenue Service of the United States government. Although labeled as tax stamps, these federal government documents acted more like a license, which for $1 allowed hospitals or pharmacists or doctors to sell opium or cocaine-based products to their patients. You can find them from the 40s like this one, but they were still issued in the 50s, as early as the 1920s, and were issued all the way up until 1971. So what happened to change this system? In the lead up to the 1972 presidential election, Richard Nixon declared the war on drugs and was instrumental in passing legislation to quadruple the federal anti-drug budget, drastically increase incarceration times, establish the use of no-knock warrants, and create the 5-tiered drug-scheduled system that we know today. The war on drugs is often seen as part of Richard Nixon's Southern strategy, where he appealed to the racism of white Southern voters in order to be elected president in the midst of the civil rights movement. This strategy was explicitly stated by presidential political advisor Kevin Phillips in a 1970 New York Times article. This war on drugs allowed for a flood of drug arrests in the last 6 months of 1972, just prior to the election, where you had an inordinate number of black people paraded across TVs as criminals that were destroying our society. The actions of the Southern strategy were so egregious and racist, in 2005, the chairman of the Republican National Committee, Ken Melman, formally apologized to the NAACP for the actions of the Republican Party during the Southern strategy and the Nixon administration. This change in drug policy made licenses like this one obsolete because the FDA now had control of the regulation of both opium and cocaine under the new rules. But the real takeaway here, my friends, is that documents like these are first-hand witnesses of history, and if you ask the right questions, you'll be astounded with the answers you come up with.